Welcome to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Christine Furman, a homeschool mom, entrepreneur, and educator with over 20 years of experience in the areas of elementary and special education. It's my mission to help you create lifelong learners and embrace a holistic approach to education at home. I'll be sharing practical strategies, inspiration, and resources to support your family. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a business owner, or balancing work and homeschool, you're in the right place to connect with a community that values education just as much as you do. Join us each week as we ditch the stress, embrace the joy of learning, and set your family up for a lifetime of success. Hey friend, welcome back to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Christine Furman, your home education expert. Well, this week I have a very special guest to share with you today, and a dear friend of mine that we met multiple times. We met at an event, and then actually someone connected us. So we're going to share our story of how we got connected and how we found perfect synergy for what she does, safety and defense in Pittsburgh, and me working with moms and children and just making sure that we are being protected and helping each other out. Moms, looking out for moms, protecting our children. And we're just going to talk and share some basic safety tips for you and your children and how you can just continue to be aware, talk about code words, some self-defense, and just some tactics that will be helpful for you. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Theresa. Thank you so much for being here with us, Theresa.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm always happy to share information with you. As you well know, I've watched your children grow and have watched them be little safety people. So I love it. Yeah, it's been several years now. But I'm Theresa Zamagias. I'm with Damsel in Defense. I've been with them for 9 years. And it is something I do on the side. My real job is commercial real estate, but the safety aspect of it caught my bug a long time ago. My daughter, who is now 30, was moving away at 21, and it changed my world. It doesn't matter how old your child is, from the time they were a baby through life, you want to protect them. So that's how I got involved, why I got involved, and I'm still involved. So,
And that is one of the times that we met in person. I'll never forget this. So we were at an event. I was selling skincare at the time, and we were at a vendor event, and I was still kind of new at this. Like, I didn't really do too many events, but I met you in the bathroom, and I don't even know how the conversation got started, but then you started sharing about your daughter, and she had just moved to Florida. And I felt instantly we were, connected, because I was like, as a mom, at that point I was a newer mom, I had a toddler and a newborn at that point. And it's like, now as a mom, you realize like what a target you are, what am I going to do? How am I going to protect my children and myself if something were to happen?
And I thought I always had. Was the thing. But really what I was doing is I had my children in a bubble. Where we lived, I chose a neighborhood that would be safe. And we all say that, right? We all choose the neighborhood that we feel our children are going to be most safe. I trusted my neighbors. We were very careful as to what school district we were putting them in, all of it. And then when it was time for her to go out on her own at 21, not that we were oblivious to things, believe me, because I do work downtown. But when I was sending her off to live alone is when it hit me.
Yeah.
Because I knew she was protected in my home with all the safety and security things I have just personally. But when I was sending her off on her own, and I'm watching these videos, and I sat through a seminar with Damsel in Defense, and I went, oh, you're the worst mother in the world. You sent her with, the most I did was put a beware of dog sign in her window when I moved her, not comprehending she needs She needs alarms. She needs pepper spray. She needs
Mm-hmm.
something to have very quick in her bedroom if somebody would come in the middle of the night. Even in, staging her home. So if somebody was coming in the back door, what does she have near that door? So it changed my perspective on safety.
Yes.
Is just making her aware, which, then I'm the craziest mom in the world, but making her aware, but also then knowing that she is protected was such a weight off of my chest that, okay, we can do this. You
Mm-hmm.
can live alone
Yeah.
and you're going to be protected. But even in her car, it's the safety in her car. This is the first time she had been away from home. So I
Right.
needed to make sure she had the tools in her car, like a glass breaker and the emergency kit that has the jumper cable so that she would never be stranded, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a different way of thinking.
Yes, for sure. Because you're right. As a mom, as a new mom, we are protecting them. But what about those next steps? What about when they're not with us? Even, now day and age, when they go to school, when they go to a neighbor's house, when they go to an event, even
Right.
that those are the things that I think about now because I homeschool my kids. I work from home and they're with me a lot and I have a lot of say in what they do and where they go and but as we're going to friends' houses, what is in that house? Are there older brothers or, is someone else going to be in the house that I don't know and I'm not aware of? And what about an
Are there
event?
guns and are the guns locked? Like, that kind of stuff too. Yeah,
Yes.
you have to think ahead. And it's okay to ask questions. It's okay
Hmm.
to ask questions to the other parents because they may not have even thought about that.
Right.
So it really is okay to create your village.
Hmm.
They always say it takes a village to raise children. You have to know your village well,
Yes.
and protect them that way
Hmm.
too, and know that other moms are going to protect your children when they are with them as well,
Yes.
so that you're not just handing them off, but they're protected.
Absolutely. That is so, so true. And those are some situations that we even have encountered, like there's brothers that are hunters, and it's like, we got to pay attention to those kind of
Hmm.
things.
Yeah.
So that is very, eye opening as we
Yes.
keep, our kids keep growing. There's going to be new challenges, and you think, your children are older, right? But at 21, it was like, oh my gosh, we're thinking we're preparing them the whole time. And as they become adults, like, okay, we did our job, but then it's like, wait a second, here's a
Your job's
new
never
set of
done.
challenges.
Your
Yes.
job is never done. I have no good news
No.
for you there.
Thanks.
You are a parent for life, and that's you at some point I would tell you stop apologizing to your kids. This is
Good.
me. I always, I know you and I have talked about this before. Anything that came on the news or we were watching a movie or whatever, I would like look at them and they're like, oh, here we go. It's a teaching moment, isn't it? And I'm like, yep, here we go. Like you've got to talk to them. The biggest
Hmm.
thing is talking to your children
Yes.
and teaching them safety at a very early age so they aren't afraid of things, that it's just making them. We always talk about situational awareness, which
Hmm.
is your number one defense. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. You
Hmm.
have to teach a child that at a very young age. Children at a very young age, they will get butterflies in their stomach. They will may get sweaty palms. They may get nervous. That is a trigger that you are visibly able to see their face change. They're feeling something wrong.
Hmm.
So be aware of it and see what that situation is,
Yes.
but teaching them it's okay if something is feeling wrong. You've got to tell your safe people. Who are your safe people? Set up that line of defense for them too. Mom, dad, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, whoever. You do that. You make them aware that they have safe people that they can go to
Mhm.
and talk about, because maybe they may not be comfortable talking to mom about a
Right.
situation, but they need to know that they have a safe person.
Yes.
So create that village.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And knowing who those safe people are, right? And
Hmm.
distinguishing because sometimes maybe there is someone in your family or someone in the neighborhood that they don't have that feeling, right? Or they have that weird feeling. And you're like, well, why? What's wrong with this person? But they know something.
Correct.
And we need to lean into that. And we need
That
to have
inner
that,
sense. Yep.
yes, have that open line of communication. I talked about this on the last episode and in our Facebook Live. Like that communication with our kids is so, so important. Because
Even asking them, like, I grew up in a large Italian family. You walk into a room, you kiss everybody, you hug everybody. That's what we do. Um, But if your child is giving you I don't want to hug that person, I don't want to sit on Santa's lap, I'm not
mhm,
comfortable with that situation. You have to read that. You
yeah,
have to understand and never, hey, how about a fist bump instead? There's Uncle Joe. Hey, go give him a hug. If they don't want to, give them a fist bump. Like
yeah,
they can say hello, but still feel uncomfortable. Or they're still strangers to them. They may not be a stranger to you, but it's still a stranger to them if a child is seeing someone for twice a year
mhm,
and you know them but your child doesn't. It's okay if they're a little reluctant. don't
right.
don't force your children to be that overly friendly with
Yeah.
people. um,
Affectionate or anything. I totally
Correct.
agree. That is something I've seen before, like, oh, go ahead and give them a hug. And I'm like, listen, if they don't want a hug, that's okay.
Hmm.
I'll take a high five or I'll just
Right.
wave, because
Yep.
we need to be protective of their boundaries too.
Absolutely.
They
They
need
have to
to,
learn their boundaries.
yes, yes,
you know
exactly. And I think
Absolutely.
that's very important.
Yeah, and then the statistic that 95% of the children know their molester.
Hmm.
It's no longer stranger danger. Like I could never teach my children stranger danger because I talk to everybody. We get in the
Right.
elevator, I start talking. I'm just a talker, so I could never teach them stranger danger. But the sad part of it is they are more likely to be molested or taken advantage of by someone they know, versus a complete stranger. So you have to teach them that their
Mhm.
boundaries. Talk to them about their bodies.
Yeah.
We have a great line in Damsel in Defense. It's called Safe Hearts.
Hmm.
And, the safe aspect of it means sharing awareness for family empowerment is what safe means. And it's just really talking about it. But they have a whole line of books. Specifically, if you don't even want the books, they have a parent guide.
Hmm.
I want to say it's like $7 or something of that sort. But it teaches you how to talk to your children about the uncomfortable subjects. But the books go anywhere from coercion um, to, I'm trying to think of some of the very specific topics that they talk. I know coercion is one. Even like they know their coach, and the coach wants to give them a ride home,
Hmm.
but they're reluctant about that. There's those kinds
Yeah.
of things. But
Yeah. I think we
there's
have a couple of those.
grooming,
Hmm.
tricky situations, tricky friends. Someone has an older brother, kind of thing. All of those books play into that. And it all it really does is open up the conversation for you to talk more about to your children about the uncomfortable conversations.
Yes.
And they are uncomfortable, I know, fully aware, but they are important. They really are important to talk to your children. I know the one thing that we talked about many times, and I will tell you, with my children even being older, we still have a code word.
Hmm.
So we taught our children code words at a very young age. This was long before Damsel in Defense, but I must have read it somewhere along the line in one of the parenting magazines. But having a code word in your life is very important, even if it's between you and your husband. But we choose a family code word, and I'm not going to give it to you, but I will say it's easier to, instead of it being like unicorn or some word that's not going to be that easy to put into a sentence.
Hmm.
We chose a name. So if I say Sophia,
Hmm.
and there's not a Sophia in my world,
Hmm.
you choose a name that there isn't, in your world. But I'll give you just a couple. For instance, if I am in trouble and I call my husband and say, "Hey, I'm out shopping with Sophia. Just wanted to let you know," because it very well could have been I've abducted and they're saying, "Hey, call and tell them," or my husband's calling me and they're saying, "Tell them you're okay." If I say I'm shopping with Sophia, he's instantly going to look at my location. Um,
Hmm.
or Or here's a couple situations with your children. So your children are at a play date. Your daughter is feeling uncomfortable in this situation, and she says, "Hey, can I call my mom real quick just to say good night?" Or I forgot to tell her something, and they allowed her to make a phone call. She could just say, "Mom, what time's Aunt Sophia picking me up tomorrow?"
Mm-hmm.
Mom's going to hear the word without any embarrassing situation.
Yep.
She is going to hop in that car, go get the daughter, and say, "You know what? I'm so sorry. We have a family emergency, and I need to take, Samantha out of the situation. And
Yep.
we'll be back in touch with you sometime soon." You're removing your child from that situation.
Absolutely.
This one happened with my neighbors who had teenagers, and their son was in a situation. He was at a party. It turned into a drinking party, and he was very uncomfortable, and he was probably, I want to say, 15. And he called home, and he said to his dad, "Hey," they had their own code word, but he used it. Father jumped in that car, went to get him, pulled him out of that situation, and he was safe. So that
Mhm.
code word can be for life. You're
Yes.
teaching them young. You're teaching them, you don't tell anybody about this code word. This is very serious. This is just between us. It is
Hmm.
only used in an emergency situation, but it does last for life.
Yeah.
In whatever situation, you could potentially be in. You can use
Right.
a name and work it into a conversation and a sentence very easily.
Hmm.
So, what time is Uncle Joe picking me up? Whatever. There isn't an
Right.
Uncle Joe. So, that's very important to come up with that code word with your family.
I do love that. And that's something even my grandmother has been talking about. And she says, we need a
I
family code
remember.
word because she said, I don't want scammers, especially with AI now, right?
Yeah.
That are imitating people's voices. So she's like, I don't want someone to call me and it be an imitation of your voice. I need to know that you are not in danger because we've
I love
seen
that.
these stories on
I
the
love
internet,
that.
and we've seen that, there has been a scammer called. The person sounds like they're in danger, all of these things. And then they hang up the phone and they call that person and they're like, we're fine. You know,
Right.
I have chills right now thinking about that because it is a scary world that we're in right now with
It is.
all of the evolving technology. So not only are code words good for the actual physical times, but also now these scamming times,
Right. Another thing on a phone call, it just dawned on me because my parents are 88 and 91. So my dad is so frustrated with all the scam calls he
Mm-hmm.
gets. And I said, well, the first thing you don't say when they say, "Is this Christine?" and you say yes, don't ever say yes,
Nope.
because they could be recording just that word, and you now bought, a timeshare in Jamaica.
Right.
So you have to, if they say, "Is this Christine?" you say, "Speaking, how can I help you?" But don't say yes because they can record it. So
Mm-hmm.
be very careful, when you're
See, I don't
answering
even
the
answer
phone
my
as
phone
well.
anymore. It's terrible. I'm just
Yeah.
like
Well, it says
voicemail.
potential spam, and I'm like, voicemail.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Exactly. So that
Agreed.
is the
Yep.
beauty of it. But, I probably miss important phone calls, but whatever. They'll leave a voicemail.
Whatever. If it's important, they'll leave you a message or they'll call back. That's how
Exactly.
I feel about it. I don't. I always worried about hurting people's feelings in the past, and now I'm like, nope. This is about protecting me and mine. So,
Yes. It's
yeah.
about your safety, about you. So let's talk about maybe a mom going to a
Okay.
store, right?
Okay.
I've seen a lot of this lately, right? Moms are being followed in stores. Comments are being made to moms. I mean, I know this happens to me even. I go on a walk and different comments are being made as I'm on my walk. And it's like, this is uncomfortable, right? Or
Mhm.
I'm going to the store and now my kids are older and I'm like, hold my hands, pay attention. I've been teaching them since I met you, probably before that, those teaching moments, that was something my dad always did. And I had the same kind of response. Oh, here comes another teaching moment. Dad's going to tell us this situation from this movie or this, show. But now I do it with my own kids. And I'm like, do you see how they talk to their mom? That's not how we talk to our moms,
Mhm.
or this situation, this is what we would do. Right.
Right.
So my kids are aware of that. They know when I say hold my hand, you're holding my hand, you're paying attention, head on a swivel, keeping your head up and paying attention. But can you share some of those tips and tricks that you've shared with me that help prepare my family for other moms that are listening that are going shopping by themselves, that are going on walks, that are loading their cars? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, oh gosh, there's a whole realm of subjects right there. I'll choose one and go from one to the other. Yeah, I mean, so grocery shopping, for instance. If you can leave the children at home, leave the children at home or with a babysitter because you're already distracted with the cart and groceries and everything else. If you have to take them with you, make sure they're right by your side, kind of thing. But, parking lots, parking garages, and public restrooms are the top three places for a woman to be attacked. So, specifically grocery store parking lots, because you are distracted. You have your trunk open or doors open and you're putting groceries in. One of the things, keep the cart between you and people that are approaching you. Because I'm very reluctant. Someone can say, "Can I take this cart for you?" It depends. It will
Yeah,
depend.
that's a
Don't
good
get too
point.
close to me, but that is something you can have in between you and that person too.
I
If
didn't
someone's
even think of
offering to
that.
help you, no, thank you,
Mm-hmm.
because then you've put them right up against you if you've said yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if if you have to buy a 40-pound bag of dog food, should a woman be doing that by herself anyway?
Right. But do
I
we
would
do
never
it?
go for
Yes.
groceries and get that.
Right.
Put that on your husband's list to do, your
Mm-hmm.
father's list to do, your brother's list. Hey, would you mind? But you shouldn't do that because what you're doing is asking a man to help you or another person, not necessarily a man, because that's the other thing. I think we all assume that it's going to be a bad guy that's going
Mm-hmm.
to come after us. And no, not in this day and age. They
No.
work in teams. They're just women.
Or
I saw on the
children
news the
even.
other day. Yes, it's all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when you are in a parking lot and if you are noticing something, I'm in the habit and now I take pictures just in case.
Mm.
Because if I can save someone else's life, even if it's not my own, but I've gotten in the car and I'm like, why is that guy outside of his car? And who is he looking for and who is he waiting for? And we actually called the police. My friend and I were at the movies and we were in the Robinson, I think it was Settlers Ridge where the movie theater is. And when we came out, first of all, it was ladies' night.
Mm.
Okay. It was lady night at the movie. I don't know if it was a Tuesday or a Thursday. So men being around was unusual to begin with.
Right.
But we walked out and I watched this man standing in his car outside smoking a cigarette. Okay, not too, maybe he's picking up his wife. Then I saw him look across the parking lot at someone and someone flashed their lights.
Mm.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's scary.
nope. So we walked my one friend to her car. I said, we will be following you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But not before I call the police. But in the meantime, everyone has the cameras and we're all pretending to take pictures. I just hold it up like I'm going to take a selfie, but I snapped a picture of him
Yeah.
because first of all, if you're in a public place, you're allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it made me so uncomfortable that we followed the single woman home that was with us, made sure we took a different route. I said, don't go directly home. Let's go a different route just to make sure
Yeah.
nobody was following us. But you can't tell me that those guys, those two, and there may have been more, weren't up to something because they
Right.
were communicating through a parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
several rows of cars between them. So, again, your situational awareness is your biggest thing.
Yes.
But moms, when you're going to a store, have a checkpoint for your kids that if you get separated, maybe when you're going into the store and you say, see the customer service desk over there. If we get separated in any way, shape, or form, you're gonna find that customer service desk.
Mm-hmm.
Have a plan before you even get started,
I love
because
that.
you know how crazy, kid's gonna see a Christmas display and go running over to it, and before you know it, you've got 10 feet between the two of you, and things happen very quickly.
Yes.
So have a plan before you even go in. I
Mm-hmm.
would say always have a game plan. See what the people are wearing that work here. Targets are usually in a red shirt and they always have a lanyard on.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that people can't dress up differently, but you will never leave a store without me. You will never go out into a parking lot without me.
Mm-hmm.
If we're in this store, you stay in this store. I promise you that I will, find you or get you.
Right.
We talked about the personal alarms that set off a very loud sound. I think your children had them way back when.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very loud very loud personal alarm that
Yeah.
usually goes on a children's backpack, wherever, something place they can get to it quickly. They can set something like that off in a store.
Hmm.
It's nothing to play with. This is very
Right.
serious, but it's only if you feel you're in trouble, set off this alarm. I'm going to know that alarm and I'm going to set it off. The other thing is, for smaller children, if someone is trying to take you and they pick you up, fall flat on the ground. Do a
Mhm.
temper tantrums, kick them, do whatever. This is not my mom. This is not my mom. Not no, because then it looks like a temper tantrum.
Right.
And talk to children about temper tantrums and understand that someone's going to think you are hurt by
Hmm.
a stranger. You know, discipline your children very early so that there aren't the temper tantrums.
Right.
Not to say they don't exist, believe
Right.
me, but if they are in danger, they need to learn the proper things to say. This is not my mom. This is my dad. Please help me. But find that person. I can't even say go to a security guard because
I know.
someone could have a costume on. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you have to teach your children, your community, um, your stores, the places that you frequent. You have to, but the biggest thing is don't go outside of the store ever. Ever,
Mhm.
ever, ever, ever. I will never be outside in the parking lot waiting for you. If I have you in this store, I will be in the store.
Right.
We are leaving together.
Mhm.
So never go outside.
I think that's
Even,
huge,
yeah,
to
even
make
like
sure that our kids know that.
yeah, and we're coming up on Christmas shopping and things like that at this point, so holiday shopping. Some of the things that are going on where people were putting ribbons and different things on the cars to identify. So if you're walking in alone, might be a pink ribbon. If you're walking in with your daughter, there could be a red ribbon. They work in teams, so they could
Mhm.
go around and looking for what cars are what. They know what to expect and who's coming out. Decals on your cars. Moms and dads, I know you're so proud of the things that your children do with soccer and dancing, but when you put a decal on your car with some of them have the little people, like the mom,
Mhm.
dad, the twins, the dog, you just told everybody what's in your home.
Exactly.
So be cautious about that stuff. I could never stand graduation time when parents have the signs in the yard. You
Mm.
just told them your daughter's name, how old she is.
Yeah.
I'm so paranoid about it,
Yeah.
but I'm more paranoid than most. But giving that free information out to crazy people,
Yeah.
you know,
Anyone driving by, yep, I totally agree.
yeah,
Totally
that makes
agree.
me very nervous. But what were some of the other things that you wanted to talk about
Mm,
when we were talking about the kids
yeah, I'm trying to think.
out shopping?
Parking lot. We talked about this before of like even when your kids are little and unlocking one door, or like for mine, I would open my hatch and my kids would go in the back and my doors were still
Lock and stuff
locked,
in.
you know,
Yes.
and then I would load the car up, lock, shut it, and then we would go. I'd only unlock my door. And I know
Yeah.
that's a safety feature on my car where it only unlocks one door.
It actually is a safety feature on most cars. And when you unlock your car, you should only be unlocking
Door.
your driver door. If
Mm.
it's opening all of them, go to your dealership and have them fix it for you.
Mm.
They can actually reset it for you, but you should only be opening that door. Carjacking is the number one place for that is usually a gas station.
Wow.
So when you are when you are getting gas, lock your car
Hmm.
because your purse is usually in there, right?
Right.
They could just hop in. You better hope there's not a child in a car seat, but they can hop in
Wow.
and take the car. So yeah, I lock my car all the time, and as I'm standing at the pump, I'm
Hmm.
constantly looking around because I may not be helping myself in the situation, but I could be helping somebody else.
Hmm.
There's other women that need our help just as much.
That's so
Um,
true. I love that so much that you do that. And that's something that I definitely need to do more, right?
yeah.
Because I am looking out, but I'm like, oh, that's weird. I remember this. So there's a Ross Dress for Less down here in Georgia. And I would go to the one in Robinson, no problems, right? That's right. I love to shop there. And I would go. Well, I came here and there were men in the women's section. And I was like, that's
Hmm.
weird. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
they were like very close to this other lady, like that was literally shopping. And I'm paying attention, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is weird. And instead of like saying something to her, because you just don't know, right? Sometimes I don't know. I just get a little weird about that because what if that person's working with that person?
I am
Or
unapologetic anymore about
I
going
love
up to
it.
women. Like if we are in a grocery store, women have a tendency to put their purses in that, the child's
Mm-hmm.
seat, I will call it, with wide open.
Right.
Like either have a crossbody, zip your purse,
Mm-hmm.
lock your purse into that child,
With the
um,
buckle.
with the buckle, lock it
Mm-hmm.
in. Because if somebody tries to grab it, it's already bolted down with that
Right.
seatbelt. But yeah, anytime I see something, I say something now,
Mm-hmm.
unapologetically. And if I'm wrong, sorry, I was just looking out for you. If
Right.
somebody's offended, just want to make you aware of the situation. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
And I
not
should have
trying,
done it in that
not trying
moment.
to offend you.
Right. But I was also new at this, here in town, right? And so I was like, well, I don't know, right? So I just left. I was like, I'm not coming back by myself. Anytime I do any shopping, I make sure Dan's with me because I was like, I don't want to feel uncomfortable and I don't want to live in fear. And that's the other thing is like,
Right. There's a difference.
yes, like it's not about, I'm not fearful, I'm not afraid, I'm aware. And I continue
Correct.
to teach my kids awareness. But you know what? I'm not going to put myself in a position where I feel uncomfortable.
Right.
You know what? He can come and shop with me for an hour and he'll be fine,
Right.
and I'll
He'll
feel more
survive.
comfortable. Exactly. And the kids are, I feel more comfortable having the kids there because if it's me and the kids shopping, we're distracted, right? I'm
Yeah.
looking for shoes and I'm looking for clothes and does this fit, right?
And they're distracted with some display and they're going to go,
Exactly.
something shiny and bright and they're off,
Hmm.
so yeah, you have to be aware of all that kind of stuff. But
And paying attention to all the situations that are going on because the same situation happened or a different situation, but there was a van parked next to my car. And as we're in line, I'm like, guys, we're not going out to our car. Or if we go out to our car, you're loading in through the side that can be seen through the store,
right,
right?
right,
And by the time we were done, that van left. But I was like, we
yeah,
have to have a plan. And they know, Ella knows when I hold her hand tight or I squeeze or she's paying attention and she comes over and holds my
yeah.
hand. And it was so funny because Alex would be like, looking all around. And she's like, Alex, get over here. Pay
Oh,
attention.
oh,
you
I
know?
love that. She's always been ahead of her years.
Yes. Yes.
But don't be afraid also to walk back into the store. Managers like to know what's going on in their stores as well as outside of their stores.
Hmm.
And, my job in real life is, commercial real estate. So we own and manage shopping centers. So we get phone calls all the time about a situation that has happened. Hey,
Hmm.
can you take a look at this? We have cameras. So, we can go back and check things out, help the police if we need to. Um, they appreciate that. If they don't want to be known as a dangerous store
Right.
among the mom community, so anything that they can do, and most of them have a security team too, or someone that can walk you out. So
Hmm.
especially a mall, they definitely have a security team. But when in doubt, never be afraid to ask or
Yeah.
question, or just go up and say, "Hey, you know." I just noticed there's a young girl walking around, and those two guys have been following her
Hmm.
throughout the store, and I don't think she is with them. Maybe
Yeah.
keep an maybe talk to her if I don't talk to her first. But
Hmm.
if not, make sure she's not walking out alone. It's just an uncomfortable situation.
Right.
So, yeah, again, it's really a situational awareness with all
Hmm.
of that.
And I have actually had people stop me and say, hey, um, when you bent over, I could see your dress was a little bit shorter. Or so I have had people, and this was before I had kids, everyone. So in my 20s, but some of those situations, or just like you said, the purse in the cart, and at first I got defensive, but now that I know more, I'm like,
Right.
oh, now
Yeah.
I understand,
I wear a crossbody everywhere.
right?
It's on me,
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. Or I'll even if I have my crossbody, my car keys in my pocket because
Mm-hmm.
it's separated. So if they at least my phone and my key or in my pockets, even though I have a purse, because if someone's going to grab my purse, I at least have my phone and my car.
Well, that's a good idea.
So just
Good
things,
tip.
definitely things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the one thing I wanted to talk to you about too, specifically when it comes to security in your home, staging your home. Everybody lets their guard down in their house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and not to say that you shouldn't. Your home should be a safe place, but in this day and age,
Mm-hmm.
you've got people coming through the neighborhoods and things like that. My husband has a habit of, like, on a Saturday, he will open the garage door and pull the lawnmower out and go down around the back.
Mm.
The garage door is still up.
Right.
That There's a door that comes straight into my house off of
Mm-hmm.
that. So be aware of those kind of safety things. Have something in your garage that if you're out doing yard work and something or somebody, could be a dog, could be a
Right.
human coming at you, you have something to protect yourself.
Mm.
Perhaps it's a shovel, perhaps it's a rake, perhaps it's pepper spray, whatever it might be. You stage your home, something at your front door. Someone comes to your front door and tries to push their way in. What do you have right there that you can grab?
Mm.
Kitchen is easy because you've got all kinds of weapons in there.
Right.
But even at your bed, know what you have in your bed if you were awakened in the middle of the night,
Mm-hmm.
and needed to protect your family. What do you have?
Yeah.
It could be a flashlight shine in somebody's eyes. It
Right.
could be anything. I'm just saying, stage your home. What do you have in your shower?
Mm.
Like, I have a striking tool hanging on a little hook in mine.
I love
So it's
that.
waterproof, but it's something I can grab if somebody's going to come in.
Yes.
You have to think about the unexpected. When you're sitting in your family room and watching TV and you're just relaxed and eating popcorn, what would you do if someone, it's always what would you do if?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to prepare your brain that way. You
Yep.
have to think, what would I do? How quickly could I get to that? How quickly it could be a candlestick. I don't care what you have near you. Just
Right.
have something. Have books. You can throw
Mm-hmm.
books at them,
Yep.
whatever it might be. We have a door alarm. It's a travel door alarm, but it can be used for so many reasons. It looks like a little door stop, but it's my daughter's whole house alarm system.
Mm-hmm.
She'll take it with her when she's traveling. I have one with me because I was with my friends before this
Yeah.
trip. But it also works. So when a door opens and a loud alarm goes off, so it sounds like you have a whole house alarm system.
Mm.
But it's good for parents that may have a wondering child,
Oh, yeah.
caregivers that have a sleepwalker or
Mm-hmm.
Alzheimer's or any of that. That is a great thing to have in your home as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a whole house alarm system, you don't need one. You can have
Right.
these go on windows and doors. But little things like that where you're staging your home. I know it's your castle, but it's also where you let your guard down the most.
Yeah.
Even out in the yard, playing with the kids,
Right.
things like that. Just know what you have that can be quick. You
I
were talking
love that.
about walking and running, um, going for a walk and everything. Have your self-defense in your hands already.
Mm-hmm.
Whether, like I said, we have pepper sprays. It doesn't have to be our products. Like, I'm not one of those buy our products.
Mm-hmm.
We have them and they're great, believe me.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to be that. Just know what you have,
Mm-hmm.
that you can use. Glasses can be a weapon. A
Mm-hmm.
beret can be a weapon.
Right.
Just
Anything at that point. I know I tell people that all the time. I'm like, if you're at the grocery store, these can of beans can be a weapon. This wine bottle can be a
100%.
weapon. So that is
100%.
something that I do share with moms, like keeping that in mind that anything near you can be in a weapon. And I think the other thing for me, that training came, unfortunately, when I was in the classroom, when we were doing intruder drills, anything is a weapon at that point. And
Absolutely.
it's unfortunate that that's how we have to, think, but it is true. And it's, teaching our children that you literally can pick up anything and
Anything.
throw it
Yeah.
and, protect yourself. So
Yeah.
I,
I know schools are doing that, or churches are actually doing safety within. And I actually went to a live shooter simulation in a church.
oh, wow. Yeah, that's
And,
scary.
I had goosebumps everywhere knowing it. First of all, they said that although this is fake, keep in mind that we have publicized this. So
Mm,
your heart is automatically racing.
right.
But they did. Everybody had a job to do. So these people in the back, they would throw books. These people up here would get these people to safety. They actually had safety people, and they put together a safety team that you're in charge of doing this, this, and this when something like this would happen. And you know, it's unfortunate, and we hear about the schools and the churches and
Mm-hmm.
synagogues and things like that. Um, but it is protecting your world,
Yeah.
and where you go. So if you go to a church, say, do
Mm-hmm.
we have a safety team in? Because there are a lot of men in our church that pack guns.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Right.
part of the safety team.
Exactly.
If you don't have one, start one,
Mm-hmm.
and it could
Yes.
be
Yes. Ask those questions. And then I love that. Get it started.
protect your world.
Mm-hmm. I
Your
love that.
school. Know what the security drills are in the schools. Know what would happen if this happened at your school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they still have PTAs and things like that,
Yeah.
but ask those questions. Get something started. Protect.
Because even in the homeschool community, right, my kids go to different classes, right? So it's
Yep.
not a school, right? But oh, hey, this has this art class or a theater class or whatever that may be, right? So they did go to a class and I said, and it was a very short, like 6 or 8 week session. And I started thinking like, what would happen if, number one, is this door locked? Number two, what happens if someone comes in? What is your protocol? Because you need to make sure my children are safe.
Yeah.
That's the number one concern. You know, I don't even like leaving my kids anywhere.
Yeah.
You talk about, being protective mom.
Yeah.
It's bad
It's
sometimes.
okay. And it's okay to do that because all it does, I mean, someone may look at you and go, wow, all right, Christine. But there's going to be another one that says, thank you. I never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's, making people aware is, again, unapologetically. We have portable door locks that go right into the jamb of the door. And like when you said, if somebody is that door locked,
Yeah.
if something would happen in a classroom or anywhere, I mean, you do it in a hotel room as well, but it's so they can't kick in a door, this little
Mm.
portable door lock. But
Mm-hmm.
you could hand that to that teacher for the day and say, listen, I'd be feel more comfortable if you had this.
Right. I love
you
that. So
know,
I think for you and I would love to do maybe a live call where we are doing a video showing off some of the products that you have, because I
sure.
know here I am and I've seen a lot of your products that, your company has. And I'm like, oh, I need to add that to my list. I need to get
Yeah.
those. I need to get that because for me, I don't like traveling by myself, but having
Well, we have
that.
free stuff too. So like we have our Damsel in Defense safety app that, and I set it off last week, so it was funny. But like every once in a while, like the app didn't close, or I opened it and didn't turn it off. But it literally, I choose my emergency contacts. So it's my husband, my daughter, my son, my brother. And what it does is you personalize it. So if I hit send to any of that if I was in trouble. It disappears from my phone, but it'll send to them my GPS location every minute until I turn it off. But it'll
Wow.
say, Teresa's in trouble. Please call for help. They have my GPS location, which is
Wow.
latitude and longitude, and that's what the police need to know to find me. Not that she's at the mall. It could
Hmm.
tell them what store I was in. So anyway, there are occasions where I accidentally send. And Alexa's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm so sorry." And then you can clear the code. You have to put a code in to clear it, and
Mm.
it will say Teresa is now safe. So, like that is a free app that honestly everyone should have.
I
That
love
that
that.
is,
So we can put that in the show notes
yeah,
below, the link for that. We'll
yep.
definitely put your
I'll make a note.
information in the show notes and your Facebook group so people can get connected. And what was that Facebook group again?
Defense in Pittsburgh.
Okay. And it's PGH, right? Or it's not, is it
No,
Pittsburgh spelled
no,
out?
it says Defense in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh spelled out. My
Perfect.
my
Email.
email and stuff is PGH,
Okay. Perfect.
but all of
Yes.
my contact information is on that Facebook page as well. My link to my website, for all of the products and anything Damsel is there. My email, I believe my phone number is probably there too. But yeah, any questions anybody has, I have so many tips as well. I would love to share. I do have one that says safety tips for young mothers. I'll send it over to you. You can
Yeah.
post things like that. Just things you don't think about,
Right. No, that'd be
So,
great. We would definitely love that. I'll put that in the Facebook group and share it here, in the comments. But friends, if you are looking for more information, one, check the link, check the show notes for all of the links, and join Theresa's group, and also join the Home Education with Ease Facebook group, because I'll be sharing those tips from Theresa as well. And you can share any of your questions in my Facebook group, Home Education with Ease, and also in Theresa's. So if you are, say, I need, advice on this situation, or put it in there, let's talk about it. Let's make sure that you are protected, your children are protected. That's the number one goal here.
And if it's personal and you don't want to put it publicly, you can also message me or, call me directly as well as Christine. So some topics are, private. So
definitely.
But thank you for having me.
Oh, Theresa, thank you so much. Always so much knowledge and expertise. I just love having you as a guest. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Our hour goes so fast all the time.
It really does. It really does. Well, stay tuned, guys, because we will have a live Facebook group at some point, or a Facebook video highlighting a lot of the products that Theresa was talking about, because I have the Safe Heart books. I have some of the products, but I know that I could definitely get some more of those. So stay tuned for that in the Home Education with Ease Facebook group. And if you guys have any safety concerns, feel free to add that into our group and ask us those questions. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Theresa. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you all.
Yes, thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I hope today's episode left you feeling empowered and ready to take the next steps on your home education journey. Your support means the world to me. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend. For even more resources, be sure to join the free Facebook group, Home Education with Ease, and visit eduplaylearning.com to explore our programs and subscription kits. You can find the links and any other links mentioned in this episode in the show notes below. Remember, you're not alone. This community is here to support you every step of the way.